selection of Chevy Traverses in stock. Roomy, reliable, and packed with the latest technology and safety features. Stop in today, take a test drive, and see why your next SUV should come from Minnesota Motor Company. Together, let's drive. Minnesota Motor. South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
There's lots of gear to help you fish, but make sure you pack your guides in your tackle box. Listen to Todd and Phil from PT's Guide Service during Gone Fishing, presented by Frontier Marine and Power Sports. Gone Fishing helps you land more fish by letting you know the techniques that are working on area lakes. Listen in as PT's Guide Service shares a boatload of experience. Gone Fishing can be heard right here every Friday afternoon at 5:25, presented by Frontier Marine and Power Sports. Listen in this Friday and let people know you've gone fishing.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
I had to look. I couldn't even remember what day it is. That's what this week has been like.
Oh, my goodness, I know.
Good Thursday morning, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of those days. It's a heavy day. It's Thursday, September 11th.
Yeah.
And 24 years ago, you and I and all the rest of the Layton media staff, Lakes Radio at that time, were gathered out in our little entryway, and just with, shock on our faces and wondering what this meant. What was it going to be like going forward? Were there going to be any more of these kinds of attacks? Do we need to get gas? Do we need to, all those sorts of questions. Everyone in shock on September 11th in 2001.
I remember swinging through, I think it was still Hardee's at the time, over on Vernon or next to Casey's, and watching somebody fill up two 55-gallon drums full of, gas.
Right. I remember being one of those people that was thinking, gosh, what's going to happen here? And we did. I mean, we filled up our vehicles, and I remember sitting in a long line at Holiday Station. But I absolutely recall that morning, and I think everybody can recall exactly where they were on the morning of September 11th, 2001.
I didn't have my TV on, and I had a CD on the radio, so I didn't know until I pulled in here at a little after about 8 o'clock is when I pulled in here, and I saw Charlie, Mark Anderson, and Brian Lockins standing outside, and I'm like, well, those guys. So I walked up, walked up to them. I'm like, hey, if you guys are out here, who's on the air? And Mark looks at me and goes, Dave, we were attacked. And I'm like, what?
Well, I actually heard it on our station on my way to the radio station. And I knew that we were taking a national feed, and I thought, what is going on? This is normally when Morning Watch would be on, and so clearly I knew that there was something very wrong. And I hadn't gotten much of the detail before I pulled into the station, got into our little entryway out here in our lobby, and everyone, I will never forget the look on everyone's faces, these long, awful faces, just wondering what is next.
Because I remember I was sitting here, my roommate called me and said, Dave, what do I say? I keep seeing planes going into buildings. What is this? And I told him, and we grabbed the TV out of the conference room, and Brady, who was our operations manager at the time, set it up kind of on the opposite side of where you are, on this side of it, so it's facing the KBRF studio, and we watched, we could get a little bit of grainy channel, footage, Fox out of Fargo, and we just kind of watched it, and we took the ABC feed.
Right. Well, it was a dark day, that is for sure, and yesterday and today are very dark days as well in this country with the assassination of Charlie Kirk yesterday. Just unbelievable. It leaves you feeling just sick inside about what's going on in this country, and that a voice that, clearly people are challenged by Charlie Kirk because he was out there telling people the truth about what what this country is, and college campuses. And the real sad thing is he had such a passion for this country. He was a patriot. He was a great American. He loved our country, and that's the reason he was doing what he was doing. And what he knew was that he had to get to the young people of this country. And those kids, basically, who have been indoctrinated in the past years, and certainly many of them throughout their college experience, depending on where they're going. And he needed to get to them. He knew that. He needed to get to a young group of people that he could tell the truth to. And he was very good at it. He was very believable. He kind of met them where they were. He was a uniter, not, he wasn't one of those guys that was a divider. He wanted to unite this group of students. And he was very successful. And so successful that he had many, many death threats over time. He knew that this was a position where people would not take kindly to him all the time. He knew that having, somebody watch over him, having a security team was something he absolutely had to live with. Sadly, there were about 3,000 people there yesterday in Utah, and 6 security guards, in addition to Charlie Kirk's team. And I think he has a pretty comprehensive security team because he's received a lot of death threats. But boy, if this is how we handle somebody who is telling the truth or that that we don't agree with, and he is challenging, he was a force. People were following him. I give Charlie Kirk at least a good part of the credit for Donald Trump winning the election. He got to a very, very big base of voters, and that is the college campus. Unbelievable. Clearly, one shot just meant to take out one person. This was a planned assassination.
He shot from the rooftop, nearby rooftop, and got the one shot and took off and jumped from the rooftop, and they found the rifle in the woods.
Right.
And they've got a lot of video footage of the person, so they're trying to track him down that way before releasing his image.
They're saying that the gun, as you mentioned, was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. The FBI lab will be analyzing the weapon. Investigators also collected footwear, the impression of a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis. So they've got a little bit to go on. I'm not sure how far he has gone, of course. Now we're talking about,
could be anywhere in the world at this point.
12 hours later and more. The Utah Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bo Mason confirmed that the shooter appeared to be of college age, but declined to offer any more identifying details. So potentially they have more identifying kinds of things than they are
they got
letting.
For the latest things I saw is they're able to track him through campus and up into the spot where he shot.
Wow. Okay, so what does this mean going forward? Does this mean that Turning Point USA is going to cease to exist? I don't think so.
No.
I think Turning Point USA is going to be bigger, stronger, madder than ever before. Now, who necessarily steps into kind of a position like Charlie Kirk? Boy, big shoes to fill. That's going to be tough. But they're certainly not going to let this go. They're not going to be scared indoors. They're not going to be scared from speaking out and telling the truth. That's what they do. So I don't know. It's just a very, very sad time in this country to think that somebody who is out there talking to college kids about something you potentially don't agree with, and so you just get rid of him. Is that how we do it? Now, where are the fingers going to be pointed? Who do we blame? Does one side say, "Oh, gun control," and to that the other side can say, or
rhetoric.
Keep these crazy people. When people don't follow the law, they get put in prison and they have to stay there. They actually have accountability for their actions. But we don't see that across our country. So we've got a lot of crazies, and there's a lot of crazy people out there. But again, as you mentioned, the rhetoric from the left is fueling the fire for these kinds of things. And it's heartbreaking. I talked to someone yesterday who is a fellow broadcaster, and I think politically he and I would see it pretty differently, in you know, not the assassination itself, but we see politics very differently. But we did speak yesterday afternoon, and you know, he said, Mary, this is just a terrible time in America. It doesn't matter who you are, what you believe, or what you stand for. You should never lose your life for saying it out loud. And to someone who loved this country so much, as just a college kid himself, got started and started this Turning Point USA. I mean, he had accomplished so much. He was 31 years old. Think how much further he had to go. And boy, I don't know. There's just no words for what happened yesterday. Just awful, awful, awful. And so, and if anyone is going to discount us or anyone else, saying our thoughts and prayers are with the Kirk family, and of course the Turning Point USA family, and all the people in this country who, you know, to them, Charlie Kirk was kind of a hero. I always enjoyed listening to his show. I always enjoyed the fact that he would go to these college campuses, and he would, if somebody was yelling and booing and whatever at him, he'd say, you know what, go up to the mic. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me why you don't agree. And then he would open up the conversation with those people.
And they had a line of people up there. They call it the debate line, and from what I've read, and yeah, he was debating that. He was talking about transgender serial killers or mass shooters, and that's when he got shot.
Boy. Anyway, clearly a very, very planned attack.
This wasn't spur of the moment.
No, it certainly wasn't. And, you know, people have said it had to be, you know, a professional hit. Others are saying, listen, anybody with the right scope from that distance, they could probably shoot within a 1-inch circle and hit a target.
I guess I don't know the distance that he shot from.
They were thinking about 200 yards.
But
so, I mean, if you're a hunter and you've got a decent scope,
I think the closest deer I've ever gotten was 200 yards.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you had to be a sharpshooter to make this happen. Was it just really a good hunter, good shooter? Maybe.
Well, I mean,
we don't
like
know.
you said, with the right scope, if it's zeroed in, you could spend a half day at the range and be able to.
But on the other side of that, clearly it had to be somebody who was practiced and good at shooting, because that would be a pretty nerve-wracking thing to be part of. You know, I mean, so you had to have a little bit of practice, knowledge. I mean, it wasn't just anybody, but it didn't necessarily have to be a professional hit, if you will. But anyway, he loved this country. He was a uniter and not a divider. This country will miss him terribly. And of course, his family will miss him terribly. And I don't know, how do you turn this around? How do we change things in this country so that this kind of craziness never happens again? And I've heard this said too. I don't know how you feel about this, but I heard somebody say this morning, and in fact, I heard it several times. What will this spark? What will happen in the next days or weeks because of what happened to Charlie Kirk? I've heard people say something like civil war.
We're not going to have a civil war.
But you know, I mean, that's the kind of thing that you're hearing out there right now.
But then again, that's the kind of rhetoric that spawns us.
Exactly. And so, but I think that we will see fallout.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I just, no more violence. Violence isn't the fallout that should follow violence. And this was horrible, horrible violence. Boy, we've just seen so much of it. And then when it's somebody that is so well known, so popular, so out there, I mean, everybody knows about it. And I just hope that there's some compassion for a life taken, regardless of what his beliefs were or what he talked about on college campuses and on his radio show and across the country. It's a life gone way too soon, and it's a very sad day all the way around in this country. So a lot of heaviness out there today, that is for sure. Let's see what else we've got. It's, I thought, well, what are we going to even talk about on this show today? Because I really did. I felt the heaviness of this last night.
Yeah.
I've talked to a number of people today who said they never even shut their eyes last night. Just worried about where this country is going if something like that can happen. There were 2 attempts on our current president's life before he was elected. And so where does this end? And I guess we just can't go forward fearful. No. I think that's maybe the biggest takeaway. Let's see what else we have for you today. Former Vice President Kamala Harris, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, criticizing Joe Biden's re-election bid in her upcoming book. It's called 107 Days, calling it recklessness. And Harris wrote that deferring to the Bidens was wrong, stating was it grace or was it recklessness? In retrospect, she said, I think it was recklessness, meaning he should never have agreed to run for a second term.
I guarantee you, though, if he didn't decide to run, she would not have been the nominee.
No, I totally agree. Anyway, she says the stakes were simply too high. Harris also criticized Biden's inner circle for undermining her efforts. So I think it was pretty clear to her that she would never have been the nominee.
Yeah.
Of course, doesn't want to say that out loud, but she does need to point to the finger at somebody for the reason that she was so soundly defeated.
It can't be me.
It can't, right, exactly. All right, we will be back with more on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
KBRF presents Where to Eat, the culinary adventure, sponsored by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food in Fergus Falls.
Hi, I'm Zach Daniels.
And I'm Dave Bishop, your guide to the region's culinary treasures.
Join us as we explore various restaurants, uncover delicious meals, and highlight each restaurant's signature dish.
Experience diverse cuisine types, unique atmospheres, and must-try dishes. Check it out on KBRFradio.com and the Fergus Now app.
New episodes air every first Friday of the month. Where to Eat, powered by Dandelion and Burdock and Service Food of Fergus Falls.
There's lots of gear to help you fish, but make sure you pack your guides in your tackle box. Listen to Todd and Phil from PT's Guide Service during Gone Fishing, presented by Frontier Marine and Power Sports. Gone Fishing helps you land more fish by letting you know the techniques that are working on area lakes. Listen in as PT's Guide Service shares a boatload of experience. Gone Fishing can be heard right here every Friday afternoon at 5:25, presented by Frontier Marine and Power Sports. Listen in this Friday and let people know you've gone fishing.
The Twins are enjoying an off day on Thursday after taking a 6-game road trip to Kansas City and Los Angeles. They'll open up the final homestand of the 2025 season with a 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Twins turned to Pablo Lopez on Friday, who is making his second start since returning from the IL. The Menards pregame lineup card begins at 6:30 with first pitch at 7:10, right here on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
I'm Derek Sidian with KBRFradio.com News. Join me every Friday at 5 on KBRFradio.com or on the Fergus Now app for the weekly news recap, where I recap this week's hottest local news and you catch up on what you might have missed. From local crime and business news to road construction and car accidents, the Weekly News Recap keeps you up to date on what you need to know. The KBRF Weekly News Recap is brought to you by Fergus Falls Monument. Online at foreverstonmemorial.com. Memorials that matter.
Huddle up, canola farmers. This is your season to lead the league in yield, and DeKalb is here to back you up, delivering high yield potential, powerful weed control options, and the complete agronomic package, including Straight Cut Plus and Buteo Start for those hard-to-tackle flea beetles. DeKalb is geared up to be your #1 canola seed. Hit the fields with confidence. Talk to your local rep, retailer, or visit cropscience.bayer.us. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions. Copyright 2025, Bayer Group, all rights reserved.
Find out why the markets are moving. Get in-depth ag information with the Red River Farm Network on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Good morning. I'm Jamie Dickerman here on the Red River Farm Network. We are coming to you from Big Iron. It's the final day of Big Iron, and we're here at the Red River Farm Network building again. We've got seminars, a couple of seminars. We'll tell you more about that coming up here. Right now, taking a look at markets. Tom Lilja, Progressive Ag, joins us now. And Tom, we're looking at some positive numbers here to start things off this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Jamie. We a couple days ago, we had rumor that there were going to be some small refinery exemptions, and that put a little pressure on the beans. Overnight, there was a report that the Senate may not cut those numbers or may not be allowed to get those small refinery exemptions transferred. So that's giving some strength here to the soybean market as we go into tomorrow. The other word on the street is we're just kind of waiting the WASDE report, the monthly WASDE report. Overall, they do think corn will be down a couple 100 million bushels in production, a 2 bushel cut. Corn or wheat and soybeans, those numbers aren't expected to change too much tomorrow from the August report.
We are seeing on the cattle side of things, we're seeing the cattle continue to climb after taking a real hit the other day.
Yeah, open interest declined quite a bit in the Monday session, and we saw a large sell-off on Tuesday. We saw that huge hit. Buyers are coming back into that marketplace now after that large sell-off. Demand remains pretty good. Box beef cutout values here actually were rebounding.
Right, so we'll get a look at those numbers in detail here coming up. This is the Red River Farm Network.
At Channel, we always show up for our farmers. Is that a tough spot? Rust.
Incoming!
Definitely rust.
Rick, how did you? Dropping in to check on your crop, Bill. Let's call your agronomist before that rust can hurt your yield.
That sounds great, but when did you learn to skydive?
Self-taught, Bill. Kind of a prodigy.
From personalized insights to year-round support, Channel Seed Pros always show up. Visit channel.com to learn more. Channel, all in, all season. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
U.S. Custom Harvesters, harvesting the crops that feed the world. To locate a custom harvester, visit the U.S. Custom Harvesters Incorporated website, uschi.com. You'll find a directory of custom harvesters ready to assist you with this harvest. Call 620-200-1381. That's 620-200-1381. U.S. Custom Harvesters. You can also check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Find out more at uschi.com.
With that morning cup of coffee and the Red River Farm Network on the radio, you're ready to take on the day. Farming and ranching is a bottom line business, and we treat it that way at the Red River Farm Network. Our team of dedicated ag journalists include Don Wick, Tyler Donaldson, and Jamie Dickerman, plus ag meteorologist Drew Lerner. Farm news, markets, and weather from the #1 rated farm radio team in the region. We're the Red River Farm Network, and we're reporting agriculture's business.
Farm broadcaster Don Wick here. The Big Iron Farm Show coming up September 9th, 10th, and 11th. Join the Red River Farm Network, our building near the center of the grounds. Ag Country Farm Credit Services has daily seminars in our building at 11:30. Land value seminars with Farmers National Company at 2:30 Tuesday and Wednesday. Full details on the Red River Farm Network website. Go to the Big Iron tab. Our coverage sponsored by Pioneer, North Dakota Corn Council, North Dakota Corn Growers Association, and Prairie Industries.
Taking a look at the numbers here on the the screen from Big Iron. We're looking at December Minneapolis wheat now, down 1.5 now at 568. We got Chicago wheat, December. We're up 3 3/4 now at 518 3/4. December KC, we're down 1/4 cent, 506 3/4. Dees corn is up 1/2 at 417 1/2. We got the March up 3/4, 435 1/4. November soybeans, we are up 8 now at 1033 1/4. And looking at canola this morning, we're down 186.26, 30 Canadian. Checking on the cattle market now. October live cattle, we're up $1.97, 233.10. And September feeders now up 240 at 355.60. From Big Iron, this is the Red River Farm Network.
The Target Field experience isn't just about baseball. There are 1,001 things to do. Sink putts on the lawn, beat your friends at a game of bags, and swing through the value stand for ballpark faves, all under $6. Speaking of bucks, how about a little buck truck? Kids love TC Bear. Have you ever seen a bear move so good? Running the bases on Sunday is a must, and you can't forget about the fireworks. And the Twins win! The Target Field experience is waiting. Get tickets at twins.com.
Doth thou wisheth to save money? At FergusFallsDeals.com. We've got a whole lot of new savings, including certificates for home and garden. So much more and great savings at low prices, like Atlas Outdoor Services, Flour Mill, and beyond the mitered corners. Log on to set up an account now. It's that easy. Check it out and start saving money today
at FergusFallsDeals.com.
Hey, it's Rick. I'm out here fixing the roads you drive on every day. When you speed through a work zone, you're not just risking a ticket, you're risking my life. I've got a family to go home to, just like you. So slow down, stay off your phone, and follow the signs. Help us get the job done and get home safe. We're out here for you. Be there for us. This message brought to you by the Minnesota Department of Transportation, the Minnesota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
This is Craig Olson. Join me every Saturday morning at 8 for the Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Football, basketball, soccer, hockey, volleyball, swimming, cross country. I interview area coaches to discuss the season, recap the last game, and preview upcoming games. Catch the live show at 8 on Saturday morning on News Talk 1250 KBRF and the live stream and archived shows at KBRFradio.com. Just click on Sports Streaming. The Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe.
West Metro Buick GMC has been a sponsor of Wissota Racing for many years. Jeff and his team love racing, and it was that passion that ignited their love for Wissota. West Metro Buick GMC wants to say thank you to all the drivers, pit crew members, and race team owners who have supported Jeff and his team because they sponsor Wissota Racing throughout the season, year after year. So if you're in the market for a new Buick GMC or a pre-owned vehicle, or just want to talk dirt track racing, take a drive to West Metro Buick GMC just off I-94 in Monticello.
News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. It is 9:37. Hoping everybody's having a great start to your, well, Thursday. I mean, about as great as it could be. I mean, obviously a lot of things going on.
Yeah, there is, I think heaviness that just kind of feels like, this pall across the country for so many reasons.
Well, that and plus we got to send out our thoughts and prayers to the local soda official that was involved in an accident last night.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a tragic incident out on the track, and I'm not sure if we're allowed to say if the person has passed, but he has. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so I mean, we got a lot of things happening.
We got a lot of heavy, that is for sure. Okay. Well, anyway, we've heard so many people, when you say our thoughts and prayers, discount that. But I've also heard so many people say, this is when those thoughts and prayers are the most important.
Exactly.
And I don't think we can discount the power of prayer, for sure.
Yeah.
And so to this official's family, to racing in general, because I'm sure that a lot of people
are in town for the Wissota,
and a lot of people who were here, anyway, we just Yeah, prayers all around. My goodness.
Yep.
This is the day when you should have calluses on your knees from hitting the floor and being on your knees in prayer for the day, because boy, this is a heavy one.
Yeah.
On a, I don't know if it's a lighter note, but it's a note of remembrance. I just saw a photo that had been posted. The Fergus Falls Fire Department raises that big giant flag at the fire department in remembrance of this day 24 years ago, September 11th. And so just a great big thank you to the Fergus Falls Fire Department for, making us remember.
Yeah.
24 years is a long time. Do we forget? Nope. But surely the other days of the year, do we remember less? Maybe. And it's just such a good reminder that it could almost be like your I don't know what you call it, your Facebook profile photo or something.
Memories.
And in your memories, so that it comes around often enough for us to know the importance of that red, white, and blue flag. And what it means and what has changed in this country, and how we need to be in prayer for how we go forward here. What happens next, and how do we as Americans go forward? It's hard.
It is.
But there are many reasons, to stand up for what you believe in. I think fear is probably something that, we hear a lot about. As close as Minneapolis, St. Paul, we had, somebody hunted down because they disagreed and they had some leadership in politics. So it's not foreign to us, sadly.
Yeah.
But this felt like a really, really big thing yesterday.
Yeah.
Anyway, but on the flip side of things, there is a reason to stick to what you believe and to say it out loud when you need to. And there is also a reason to find joy in every day too. We just don't know what the day's end is going to be. Charlie Kirk and his family started out their day yesterday like any other day, I'm sure, and it ended tragically.
Yeah.
So we don't know. So grab the joy in the minute that you're in, and boy, hug your family tight, right?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Well, let's end this the hour on a little bit of a lighter note. So let's talk about some of the other fun stories.
Okay, let's do that. How about this one? California woman. She's facing felony charges, but you'll get a laugh out of why. She registered her dog to vote.
I believe it.
Well, the dog probably did vote in the last election. Anyway, she's 62 years old. She faces, and I hope they stick it to her.
Yeah.
But California?
Voter fraud, yeah.
Yeah, she's probably out, and probably they forgot her name by now.
They probably have a postage stamp for her.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, she does face 5 felony charges, including perjury and submitting forged documents after registering her dog. Maya Jean is the dog's name. Anyway, of course, had a last name too. Her last name is Yorix. Registered the dog as a voter and casting ballots under the pet's name. The Orange County District Attorney's Office says Maya's vote counted in the gubernatorial election in 2021. It was a recall election, though a second ballot was rejected the following year, so they did catch up. Urix herself reported the scheme to election officials in 2024. So
she was self-reported.
She was trying to prove a point, saying, listen, you got to get this under control. Anyway, so investigators discovered, of course, social media posts showing the dog wearing an I voted sticker and a caption reading, Maya is still getting her ballot even after the dog died.
Wow.
Urix faces potential 6 years in prison if she...
Well, if she was trying to make a point, then they'll probably throw her in jail for 10 years.
Maybe. But you know what? And I mean, I hope they... I think that's what she was trying to do.
She's trying to prove a point.
And I suppose she figured in the grand scheme of things, what's one more vote? Well, what if a lot of people did those kinds of things, you know?
Well,
and especially in a gubernatorial kind of election.
And you had that one district in Shakopee, 17 votes. I mean, one vote is a lot.
Right, exactly. So anyway, but she's, I don't know, it's California, so will she do any time?
Probably not.
Probably not. Most Americans, there's a new poll out there, and they say that personal choices is what people are saying that they blame for their lot in life, their poverty. So if they feel like they are living in poverty, they blame themselves for their own choices. And I think, you know, that has a lot to do with it. Sometimes there are extenuating circumstances that you don't have any control over. Maybe they just reduced your position at work. You didn't get fired, but they don't have your job anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there can be those kinds of circumstances that you don't really have control over. But 54% also, so a little more than half, they're going to blame the government because they say that the government spends too little on assistance for those in need. Yeah. But then there is that bunch who said, nope, it's my bad, I did it. I was stupid with my money, and
no personal responsibility. Half of them say, well, the government needs to help me.
Again.
And the government's money is our money.
Right. And again, isn't that where we've come?
Yep.
Isn't that, you've talked about the rhetoric. Isn't that the rhetoric out there right now is, oh, yeah, we're here to help. We'll give you this, give you this, give you this. This is free. This is free. You can have this free.
Not free.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here's a good one. Texas couple, and they are having a baby girl. And is that big news? Absolutely, because they are breaking the Sherman family, their 108-year streak of having only boys.
Wow.
108 years, only boys. Boy, plenty of people to carry on the name, right?
Yeah.
Michael Sherman is 32, Montgomery Fire Department lieutenant, and his wife, age 32 as well, who is a TSA employee, learned the news during their gender reveal party. It's really an honor, she tells People magazine. We didn't think it was possible. So, I mean, it's just a shock to everybody. The last girl born to the Sherman family was born in 1917.
Well, I mean, the simple fact you're actually bothering to have a gender reveal party.
I know, why would they bother after
it'd be
that?
like, you know,
yeah.
maybe
we know
it
it's
is
going to
a
be a
girl.
blue balloon, you know. Anyway, Michael's great aunt, who lived until 2004 rather. Michael's father told KTRK the announcement was monumental, explaining his family tree included only boys for many, many generations. The couple already has a 5-year-old son, and relatives from across the country attended the reveal after the mom-to-be accidentally saw the results early and decided to make it a larger celebration. I will never forget when my daughter was expecting her third baby, had 2 boys at home, and of course I was kind of hoping for a girl, and I don't know what, again, I'm sure that they would have been just fine with either one because they did a pretty darn good job at raising good boys. But anyway, at the time, I think Griffin was about 4, the oldest, and he had just started to recognize his letters in the alphabet. And so they had the tests done, and they told them, put the results in an envelope and seal it, just write one big G or one big B. And so we all gathered for dinner that night, and 4-year-old Griffin got to unveil the sex of the baby. He pulled the piece of paper out of the envelope, and there was a big G on there, and he said, it's a G. We're having a baby sister. So he saw that the G, recognized that that's how you spell girl, and that's how the reveal went at our house. But it was pretty spectacular, and that was only after 2 boys. This is after, oh my goodness,
108 years of boys.
108 years. I would love to know how many boys that is in 108 years. That's a lot of boys.
Yeah.
So anyway, a lot of Shermans out there to carry on the family name for sure. All right, here is a wedding that turned into a romantic scene despite the weather, okay? So Dom Novelli, age 29, and Brittany Novelli, 27, married outdoors. Oh boy, that's always a gamble, isn't it?
Ooh.
At the Owl's Nest Resort in Thornton, New Hampshire on Friday, August 29th. And an unexpected heavy rainstorm and strong winds blew in. The forecast showed only 20% chance of rain, but we all know in the summer conditions can change very, very fast and change dramatically in seemingly minutes.
Yep.
The ceremony, the radar jumped to 80% within just a few minutes of the ceremony. So nothing could be done, and nothing could have prepared them for the heaviest band of rain that they had seen all summer long. Brittany, this also came from People magazine. The officiant spoke about how the mightiest of storms cannot break their bond while rain poured down on everyone, including the guests.
Oh, so they still did it outside. They didn't go inside.
They didn't have time. I mean, you think everybody could run inside and maybe come out a little bit later and sit on a wet chair or something. But anyway, they just kept going. And anyway, it turned the ceremony into something really special. Brittany says the bride's veil flew away in the strong winds, just took it off somewhere. But the couple and 140 guests stayed the entire ceremony, moving inside to dry off with venue towels.
Wow.
What would you do if you were seated there and you saw that come in? Would you sit there?
Well, first off,
if it was my kid or something,
I would have
maybe,
been glued to my radar app on my phone, and I would have been like, hey, guys, 10 minutes, this thing's going to get hit.
I know. You know, that you always, those outdoor events, I remember when our grandson got married a couple of years ago, they wanted so desperately to have the service outside because they had this beautiful venue down by the water. It was just, this outdoor venue was just beautiful. And anyway, she wanted so badly to be married outside. But we kept watching the radar, and it looked worse and worse and worse. It looked like we were just going to get rocked. And so they moved everything. So they had it set up for dinner because they wanted to have it outside. Maybe 40 minutes before the wedding, they thought, no way, we're never going to make it. So they undecorated all the tables, set it up with chairs to have the ceremony inside. Well, in about 10 more minutes, just like happens in the summer, the storm completely broke up and went away, and the sun came out. And we looked at the people at the venue, and they're like, yep, we got it. This is your day. We're going to make this work. They brought all the tables and decorated everything again, took down all the chairs, moved everything outside, and the wedding took place outside, just like the bride wanted. So
I've been involved in a couple weddings, and I remember my old roommate Marcus, when he got married in Duluth, he at least had it down, lakeside in Duluth. So it was a little bit cooler, but you get like 10 feet away from the lake, it was like 90-something degrees in the middle of summer.
Boy.
And of course, I got a nice black suit on, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, I remember being at a wedding, I think it was last summer, and it was at a venue outside of Fargo someplace. I can't remember what the little city was, but it was on a farm, and it was this beautiful venue, but it was outside, and there wasn't a pergola, there wasn't any shade of any kind. It was bright sunshine. It was over 100 degrees, and as you mentioned, guys in black tuxes.
Yep.
I was thinking of some of these 80, 90-year-old people who were sitting in this, and I had just, a little kind of strappy dress on, dressed very coolly, and it was just awful. Anyway, that is, I think, the worst place. And I mean, it's a wedding venue. They've got to be ready for a sunny, hot day like that. A pergola, something to cut the sun. In fact, they were going around with cold, wet towels to people because they were afraid people were going to
have heat stroke.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, and I remember being at another wedding in Phelps Mill.
Ooh,
down in the park.
That's a beautiful place. But
yes,
ooh.
And all of a sudden the wind came up, and it was like 60-mile-an-hour winds. And I mean, this big lattice thing that they were going to walk through, that fell over. There was tulle and decorations and napkins and you name it, all over the park before the wedding even began. It was horrendous, and there was no saving it. I mean, there was nowhere to go. So, brides, think about that. If you're going to have an outdoor wedding, have plan B, right?
I'm going to tell all three of my boys you're getting married indoors.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guarantee you at least one of them is going to want to be outside.
Well, it's up to the girl, just going to tell you. All right, do you want to answer one question before we wrap
can do
things
one.
up? Okay. I'm just going to give you one.
Well, no. Ask me both of them.
Do you want to do? Okay,
Yeah.
here goes.
I got to phone a friend.
Who plays the role of Joanna in Office Space?
Oh, I can picture her. I can't remember her name.
Jennifer Aniston. Is that who you thought?
Oh, in Office Space. I was thinking The Office.
The Office. Office Space, the movie.
You know, the stupidest thing about that movie holds the record for the movie I've seen the most in the actual theater.
Really? Office Space?
For some reason, we just really like that movie.
Okay, well, Jennifer Aniston. So had you thought, okay.
I was thinking the TV show The Office.
The Office.
And so I was thinking that one girl that, okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, here's the next one. This is easy. What is the first tabletop game to exist?
I want to say Monopoly, but I don't think that's correct.
You know, easier than that. It's dice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway. So maybe you're not the smartest guy in the whole world. Not in the whole world.
Not in the whole world.
But maybe United States? I don't know.
A lot of people disagree with that.
Oh, boy.
But
well,
let's wrap her up for the week.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap things up on this Thursday. Yeah, do find some happy in today. Hug your family. And we just wish you a good weekend. Thanks for joining us. Our show today and every day brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Monument Company. Have a good day.